So of course I forgot to press the recording, but I remembered halfway through. So for those who are watching the recording for the first time, this is a pattern we just did. I have not given the name yet, but I started coming out like this, started right here, come around and just kind of go right on in. And then we did it the opposite direction each time. And you can just see what we did here. So I'll give you the name of this pattern now, so if anybody wants to write it down. And by the way, I'm using, since this is called Zentangle 3, just get my thing, and if you noticed, I just came up with the whole 3 theme. It kind of happened automatically. It wasn't like I just started to plan it, but you know, the 3 p.m. Zentangle 3, it's $33. It's for 3 weeks, and I am using Tangle Deck 3. How appropriate is that? And this is from Lynn Mead. Some of you have this deck. You've purchased some decks from me, and you can get them from her online as well. And if you want information, I can send that out later. But these are cards with the pattern step outs, and then the back shows you some ways you can do that. So here is the name of the pattern, Fractal Curl. And this is kind of what it looks like, but everyone's gonna look different. The way I did it doesn't even look like that. And then we've got the step out, but you don't need that right now. And that's the creator, Marie Browning, is the CZT, Certified Zentangle Teacher, who created this pattern. I am also in this deck. My owl line is in it, but we're not doing that today. Okay, so I think we're ready to move on to the next pattern. And we will do Funbee. And don't worry, I'll show you the spelling of that later. All you need to do right now, I'm going to choose this bottom right corner. And very slowly and relaxed, we're going to draw a nice kind of curved, not curved, but just a line. You could either come this way or that way. It's slightly arced, but it doesn't have to be. And then we'll do another one coming around, just cross over it. Doesn't matter how big it is. And then we'll do another one right here. Now, with this pattern, you don't have to start off this way, but this is how the step out shows it. But even with a step out, you never have to follow those step out. I've discovered a lot of patterns that I've decided to use a different way. So now here, this does not look very pretty. I mean, it's okay, right? But not very exciting. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna kind of extend this extension here. Now I'm gonna zoom in, let's zoom in. Right? So you're going to come out with a little arc, come around and give it this little ball. And we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Come out, nice little arc shape. And I'm going to turn my tile just so you can see it a little bit more, right? And now we're going to trace along that ball, the outside, come out and around and land on the other ball. And do that with each one. Now this pattern still gets a lot more exciting, but let's do this one. Let's do this part first, because Zentangle is all about doing the same stroke over and over again. So we're just going to do that on all 3 for now. Joan, I like your kitty cat. Oh, so pretty. I'm going through to see. It's really great to be able to see people so I can see if you're still drawing or not. So I'm going to show you the next step to this pattern. So then you can do the rest on the others on your own. So inside here, I'm just going to draw a line. And you want to start from that same point and draw another line to the edge. And these are kind of arced. And then you can go the other way. So you're starting from that same point. Now your tiles or sketchbook or paper can always be, you can always turn your tile at any time to get a nice, comfortable position. And remember, your pen only needs a light touch. And you can do that in each one of these. Now, when you're done with these three, never mind. Put some music on, go nice and slow, one stroke at a time. Focus on each line, breathing in and out, totally relaxed. And when we're done with these three, I'm going to show you one more pattern. And then you can do more of these. You can do more of all of the patterns, but I'll explain that in a moment. Put some music on, do that. I'm going to mute myself for a moment. Okay, so I think a lot of you are done with that. Now, you'll have an opportunity to do more of this, but I want to show you another pattern we're going to do today. And then I'll explain how you can do more of these and more of these. So here, we're going to kind of focus now in the center, doesn't matter where. And I'm going to zoom in. So you want to draw an arc and then another arc. So it kind of looks like a pumpkin seed. But if it doesn't come out like that, that's okay. It can be an oval or whatnot. Now, just to give you an idea of the size, it's not very big, but it doesn't matter. You can make it as big as you like. Now we're going to draw a line from tip to tip. Doesn't have to be perfectly centered. As you can see, mine isn't, because there is no perfection in Zentangle, none at all. And now we're going to give it a little triangle. I kind of arced that and coloring that in. So it's almost like just giving it a little weight. And we're going to do the same thing on the other side, but opposite. And now we're going to aura this nice and close. Your pen only needs a light touch. You can have a little pressure. But if you press too hard, you can break the tip if you're using a micron. All right? Now, what you're going to do is the same exact thing, but turn your tile or your sketchbook or whatever, and do the exact same thing somewhere else. Now, it can touch or not touch. It doesn't matter. I'm just going to do another one over here. And I'll tell you the name of both patterns, because I didn't tell you the other one. Well, I told you, but I didn't show you how it's spelled. Right? So you're going to keep doing this over and over. And I'm going to show you the one I did last night. Just focus on the middle now. So what's going to happen is once you get enough of them, you'll then fill it up with orbs. Now, it's probably better to show you on the actual card. It's called Fugu. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly or not, but there you go. And then you can see what it looks like right here. Now, remember, everyone's going to do it differently. You can do it any way you like. But what I like about what they show here is that the orbs are different sizes. I like how the orbs are different sizes when we fill that in. But right now, just concentrate on doing these shapes. All right. So now what you're going to do is you're going to continue doing that. And then when you're ready, you'll put your music on. And I'm sorry if you hear wind. I will close my doors. It's very windy out today. What you can do is you can add more of these and more of these. So Funbee, let me show you Funbee. That's how you spell Funbee. And it's a really fun pattern. I love it. So there you go. And so you can add different things. Now, let me give you an example. I'll show you an example. Follow your own intuition. But what I did here, let's see. I started this diagonally here, and then I added some here of the fractal curls, and then some Funbees. We started off, I kind of went up here with my Funbee. See how I kind of did that, and I have some over here. So, and I've got some more fractals here. So whatever feels good to you. Now I did this also a different way here, so it's not as busy. So don't even think too much about it. But if you want to add more of these fractals and Funbees, you can do that. But right now, let's focus on, well, whatever feels right to you. Go nice and slow, relax, play your music. If you have a question, you can chat with me privately or with the whole group. But better to just let it go and draw whatever feels good to you. Breathing in and out. And if you're not playing music and you just want silence, that's good too. That's what I'm doing because I don't want my music to distract you. So I just want to point out with these orbs, go nice and slow, focus on each stroke, because when we tend to do a lot of circles or something like that, we tend to go a little bit faster. So let's really slow down and make each one of these rounded kind of shapes. We call them orbs rather than circles, so we don't think that it has to be a perfect circle. It can be a different, no perfection. So kind of a rounded shape, and each one is on purpose, nice and slow, relaxed. We're going to do some very interesting shading today, so I'm excited for that. We have long time to go before we get there, but just wanted to, I should be focusing on the present moment. So I just want you to remind you to slow down, especially those of you who may not, um, maybe this was your first time or you're new to Zentangle, and you might not be used to slowing down so much. And this is a great opportunity to practice going nice and slow, letting go of the outcome, because it's going to look totally different at the end anyway. So it doesn't matter what it looks like now. And if I'd like to suggest to go even slower, Draw that line or that circle or that shape even slower. Following your own intuition. If your intuition says, oh, I feel like doing this, then do it. Don't ignore it. This is not an art class. This is a mindfulness drawing class where anything goes. There are no mistakes in Zentangle. If you think you made a mistake, you didn't. You did just what you were supposed to do, and besides, it won't even show up. Okay, so I want to remind you that if you end up feeling like you're done before we move on to the next step, it's a great opportunity to just relax. You can close your eyes because you won't need to know what the next step is until you hear my voice. So it's not like you have to see me, but just an opportunity to really make this a meditation time for you or relaxing time. All right. Let's take a moment now and take a little body break. Let's cap our pens. We're still all muted for a moment. Let's cap our pens and shake out our wrists, move your body. You can stand up and stretch if you want. Actually, I think what I'm going to do is pause the recording, but I'm going to start shading in a moment. But I'm going to give you a minute to look at it, decide if you want to add anything. You can always add after you shade. That's perfectly fine. But, you know, we like to shade kind of at the end. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of these orbs and I'm going to trickle them down as if they're kind of just a few coming out, as if a few just got loose from the center. I'm just going to do a couple. That's what my intuition's telling me to do. Doesn't mean you have to do it. All right. Okay, so, and pick up your pencil. This is a nice Zentangle pencil, but any pencil will do. And we're going to put a little, we'll call it graphite. So we're going to put a little graphite down. And what we're going to do first is, let's go to our Funbee. And just right inside, and I'll zoom in so you can see a little bit closer. Right inside here, and I like to use this side a little bit. It's very, very lightly, and we're feeling, paying attention to how the pencil touches the paper. And I'm doing right inside this border, if you will. I'm putting just a little bit, because we just want it to be on the top. I'm practically just dabbing it just to put that on very lightly. And once you've got that down, pick up your tortillon or your smudger or your Q-tip. And now we're just going to blend that in, staying along the edge there, going in circular motion, nice and relaxed, breathing. And you can see how it changes the look of that. Now shading gives tangles a three-dimensional look. It gives it depth and it makes it pop. So it does lots of different things. Now we don't have to worry about where the light source is coming from, but if you want to, you can if you're an artist and you're used to that. But for the rest of us, does not matter. Shading just adds a nice oomph to our tiles, our Zentangles. So we're going to do that on each one of our Funbees. So you can play your music again if you'd like as we do this. Taking your time. And later on, when we all are, when we connect at the end, I'm going to ask people if they'd like to share their music, or maybe even if you don't want to share, you can send me an email if you'd like. But I'll have that opportunity because I'm interested to know what music you're listening to, if at all, and to give other people some suggestions. I want to compose a music resource list. So whether it's on YouTube or your television, or somebody mentioned she's listening to soundscapes, so maybe there's a YouTube channel or an Alexa channel. Might be helpful to some others what you're listening to. Maybe a CD player, there's a favorite song or CD that you're listening to. Now also, you don't have to put the graphite down on all of them. You can actually use the remnants of your tortillon for some smaller ones, for any of them, or for a lighter shade. And with the remnants of your tortillon, you can just dab these middle, what are these called? Let's see, Fugu. Now I'm just giving just a little dab because I don't want these to be too shaded, and I'll show you why in a moment, but we're just doing a little dab in these white areas just to give it it's hard for you to see on the camera here, but you can see on your own paper, if you just put just a little bit, it just gives it just a little bit of elegance, if you will. It's a nice little, just a dab, just changes the look a little bit. And what we're gonna do for the shading for this one, and remember, you can always do whatever you want, and I would love to see what you come up with. But what I'm doing here, because there's never one way to shade, I'm putting a little graphite outside along the edges. Before the Funbee, we did inside the edges. For Fugu, we're doing outside the edges, just a little bit. And then with your tortillon, you're just gonna blend it. And it doesn't really matter how far you blend it. You can actually go right over all those orbs, and the orbs will have different shades of gray. Oh, where have I heard that before? Different shades of gray. And I like that look where it's just, different. Some is darker, some is lighter. And what you can also do, if you've made these little orbs on the outside, I'm just dabbing a little bit of my tortillon in these little orbs that are floaters. Giving them a little dab. Just a dab of gray can go a long way. I just made that up. And we're going to do something a little bit different with the rest of the shading. Okay, so I'm going to show you the rest of the shade. Now, if you're not done, you can always go back to what you're doing. But now these are, again, all suggestion. If you want to shade it differently, go right ahead. My students know that by now. Oh, I forgot to do this area. Oh, wait, let me do this area. As you see, I put a little fugu down here. Fugu, that's a good word. I should use that for something. Fugu. Fugu you. Fugu. Fugu. Okay, got a little there. So there's two different things I'm going to show you. Well, first we're going to use our pencil, and we're going to shade. Wait a minute, I'm going to make sure I got my right. Okay. we're going to shade, let's see, this part of fractal curl. So I'm going along the edge right here, almost like frame. I'm going right to the edges here. And by the way, this is a piece of paper underneath my, so I like to have something underneath my tile so I can go off it and not ruin my table. So I'm going a little bit here, and I think I'm going to actually come all the way down to this corner, and I'm going to come a little bit over here as well. You can decide how far you want to go, but I'm kind of doing it like this, almost like an E without the middle line. And then taking that and blending it and pushing it out, just blend it and push it out a little bit. When I say push it out, you're just pushing it a little bit in there, not too far. We're still keeping it along the edges, but you're bringing that shading in a little bit to give it kind of like some framework, if you will. And we're just doing these 3 sides of the tile, not even the full side of the top and bottom. So it's almost like what I'm doing here, and again, there's no right or wrong, it's just what my intuition is telling me to do right now, is it's kind of from the middle of the top and the bottom, and then the whole left side. That's kind of where I'm shading. And I'm even going to go over here. Actually, now I decided to go the whole width of the bottom. And it's a little bit lighter. I've decided to do that. Now I'm keeping this white because I'm going to show you a different shading technique for that area. All right, so just do that one. Now, so we're not going to have time for the second tile, which is fine, but we will be doing what I had planned next week. All right, so now I'm going to show you a different, we're going to show, so when you're done with that, put down your pencil and pick up your pen, same pen you've been drawing with. And we are going to do a shading technique with a pen called stippling. I believe that's the name. S-T-I-P-L-I-N-G. Stippling, shading. This is my beautiful writing, stippling. I may have spelled that wrong, but I meant to double check and I forgot. But here we go. All it is, easiest thing you'll ever do in your life. Dot. Just make a dot. That's it. And we're just going to keep making these dots. Each dot is on purpose. We're not going to go dot, 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 dot. Well, you can if you want to, but just to start with, make it mindful. Each dot's on purpose. And they're nice and close together. So this is called stippling, I believe. And it's a shading technique with your pen. So I'm going to do this all the way down the right side because I shaded here, and now on the right side, that's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to go all the way down to here, or however far I feel like going. So just focus on one area right now where you'd like to do that. And if you don't want to do it at all, you don't have to. You can go ahead and use your pencil and do some other shading. One of the reasons I chose this is, if you notice, just for this fractal, I mean, you can shade fractal different ways, but I don't know, I thought it'd be nice with the fractal pattern. So you can put on your music. And again, music is not necessary, it's just a preference. I like, in my classes, I usually have nice, soft, relaxing music because it helps me to relax. It helps me to draw slower if the music is nice and slow. I hope nobody's playing heavy metal in the background. That would not be very relaxing. And you can go as far as you want with these. You can go in further, you know, I'm doing the edges, but you can come up a little bit if you'd like. Whatever feels good to you. When you're done, and you don't have to be done yet, we're still fine, but I'm just gonna put my initials. Now you sign your artwork anywhere you want on the front, even though we wrote our names in the back. The front is like, we're all true artists now. So you want to sign your artwork whenever you do anything. So I like to sign mine with my initials, but you can sign yours with your full name, or maybe a chop where you design your initials or your name or the first letter of your first name or last name. Doesn't matter. However you want to sign it, that's how you would sign it. And I'm going to mute myself for a couple of minutes, and I want you just to take your time and do some finishing up touches. And also, please, when you're done, pick up your tile, turn it around, feel the paper, and really appreciate what you've done today. And in a few minutes, I will come back and we will connect all together.